What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod and I'm coming at you now with a new updated version of my Synchron deck. Now of course this is the deck that I've been using quite recently up over on DevPro, and I do have another video up on my channel right now kind of showcasing me utilizing the deck itself. Now unfortunately I do not have all the cards I was using in that video in real life yet, so when I get to some of those I will point them out. Anyhow, without any further ado, let's get into the profile. So for monsters, we're playing 3 copies of Junk Synchron. Basically, whenever he is summoned, you're allowed to go ahead and special summon a level 2 or lower monster from your graveyard back to the field in defense position. Definitely probably one of the more main cards used in the deck. Plus, he's one of Yusei's favorite monsters, so how can you not use him? Alright, from there we're using 3 copies of Quickdraw Snychron. This card of course first came to fame way back during the Plant Synchro era, and is still one of my favorite cards to use in the deck. Being able to discard another monster from your hand to special summon him, plus he's able to kind of tutor himself as any other Synchron tuner, allows you to get any and all of your favorite Synchron extra deck monsters out. From there, our new favorite friend, Jet Synchron. And he's got a couple of really good effects. The main one being though that you can discard any card from your hand, doesn't have to be a monster, once he's in the graveyard, to special summon him out of the graveyard back to the field. Also he has another effect that whenever you use him as a Synchro material and he's sent to the graveyard, you can add another Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. And our final Synchron card is Synchron Explorer, just one of them. I used to play 2 of them in a lot of my earlier builds. He's really combos well with, of course, Quickdraw Snychron, because whenever he is normal summoned, you can special summon any Synchron monster from your graveyard to the field. So an effect that's extremely similar to that of Junk Synchron. From there, we're playing 3 copies of Tuningware. Now Tuningware has a couple of really good effects, the first being that you can either use him as a level 1 or a level 2 monster when you're performing a synchro summon utilizing him. And also, whenever you successfully synchro summon a monster with him, you get to draw a card. Next up, we are playing 3 copies of Level Eater. For those of you guys who don't know what Level Eater does, basically whenever you have a level 5 or higher monster on the field and you have Level Eater in your graveyard, you can reduce that monster's level by 1 to special summon him out of the graveyard. The only bad thing really about him is that he cannot be tributed. Now a lot of people have different variations and ideas on how many Level Eaters one should play, whether it be 1, 2, or even the 3 that I'm using. And I definitely bounce around depending on what the main focus of my deck is and what kind of some of the other tech cards that I'm using are that's within it. But in my current build that I'm using, I love to use 3 of them for a couple of different reasons, some of which I'll get to in just a moment. Alright, moving on, we have 2 copies of Dopplewarrior. Dopplewarrior's got an effect that states whenever you special summon a monster from your graveyard to the field, you can special summon Dopplewarrior from your hand to the field as well. Then whenever he's used as a synchro material for a synchro summon, you can special summon 2 level 1 Doppel tokens. From there we have our 1 copy of Glow Up Bulb, and we have our hand traps. 2 copies of Maxx, and then 2 copies of Effect Veiler. And that rounds up the monsters in the deck. So for spells, we're playing 3 copies of Tuning and then 1 Reinforcement of the Army. These are our search cards, allow us to go in and get our Synchron monsters or any of our warriors, which is Junk Synchron and Dopplewarrior for our targets. From there, we're playing 3 copies of Machine Duplication. This is probably one of the more funner cards you can play in all of Synchron. You can use it with not only Tuningware, but also you can use them now with our Jet Synchron to kind of get out some pretty crazy, insane wombo combo kind of plays, as you can see if you've watched my previous video. Now using Tuningware and Machine Duplication does make your deck a lot more inconsistent than if you were playing kind of a more standard version of Synchrons. But I will say what you lack in consistency, you definitely gain in enjoyment, as there's nothing more fun than seeing your opponent's expression as you bust off combo. From there, we have 2 copies of Allure of Darkness. Now this is also one of the reasons why we were running 3 copies of Level Eater. Really you only need 1 in the graveyard to kind of get all of your combos going. Once you draw into your second or your third one, they're kind of more or less dead cards, because even if you do have a way of getting them into the graveyard as a cost for another card, you don't really normally need 3 Level Eaters in there. Usually 1 does the trick just fine. And also if you've already normal summoned the turn, drawing into extra copies of Junk Synchron or whatever ain't really all that helpful. So instead of just holding off on those cards for maybe a play the following turn, we can go ahead and use them for Allure of Darkness and just remove them outright to hopefully dig deeper into our deck and get some more of the combo pieces that we can really use. Alright, next up we're playing 2 copies of Instant Fusion to go into our Norden, of course. Finally, we got quite a few one-ofs. We have Soul Charge, Mind Control, always good in a Synchron or any kind of Synchro-based deck. Foolish Burial to hopefully get some of our monsters that we want into the graveyard in there faster. 1 for 1, and Raigeki, because who doesn't like clearing your opponent's field? We're only playing 1 trap in this deck, and that's Jar of Avarice. I don't actually own the card yet, so I'm just using this image to showcase it. Alright, so for our extra deck, we're only playing 1 target for our instant fusions, and that's Elder Entity Norden. Just playing 2 so that we can hurry up and get to the card. I don't want to play 3 because I feel like that would get too cloggy. But if you do happen to draw the second one, you can always use it as a discard cost for Jet Synchron or something like that. From there, of course, our Synchron monsters themselves. We're playing 2 copies of Formula Synchron. I would love to play 3 copies of this guy, but just the space is so tight in the extra deck for Synchrons that unfortunately I can only use 2. From there, I have our Tatsunoko for our level 3 tuner monster. And then we have Phonon Pulse Dragon for our level 4 tuner monster. And then Accel Synchron for our level 5. All of these serve a great purpose in getting off a lot of your combos. Whenever you Synchro Summon Formula, you get to draw a card. Tatsunoko allows you to use a card from your hand as a material for a Synchro Summon. Phonon Pulse Dragon's effect I don't use too often, but he's great for Synchro climbing on up. And then Accel Synchron, obviously you can discard a Synchron monster from your deck to the graveyard to manipulate his level either up or down. Really great, especially when you have level eaters in the graveyard. Alright, from there, for our level 5s, we're playing Jet Warrior, an awesome, great card. Also a good target for our Quickdraw Snychron. Everybody's favorite TG Hyper Librarian. Allows you to draw a card every time you Synchro Summon, and if you're playing Synchrons correctly, you're going to be Synchro Summoning quite a bit each turn. Alright, for level 6, we were playing Junk Gardna. I know some people still like Drill Warrior better. I'm a big fan of Junk Gardna. I feel like he can really save you in a lot of different instances, either by putting an opponent's monster that has a really high attack down in defense position, so that you can get over it, or, you know, if they try and attack your monster to get over it, you can change them into defense position as well, so it's both offensive and defensively good. Anyways, this is a card that I definitely like. For level 7, I'm playing Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Obviously, I don't own the card just yet, as well as the next few cards. For our level 8s, we got Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend and PSY-Framelord Omega. Rounding up the level 8s, we have Road Warrior, probably one of the linchpins to the deck, as it allows you to kind of go back into your deck and bring out either a level 1 or level 2 warrior or machine type monster, and from there, the wombo combos just really continue on. Finally, rounding things up, we have our 2 big boss monsters of the deck, both Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, and of course, Shooting Quasar Dragon. Alright, so obviously Synchrons is not the most competitive deck, but it is a ton of fun to duel with. So if you ever get the opportunity to actually use this deck, I highly suggest you to do so. You're of course not going to be able to win a YCS or even a regional level type event, but taking it to your locals or just having it for the deck you're going to use with a fun night with your friends or whatever can definitely be very enjoyable. Anyhow, remember to let me know what you think of my current build down in the comment section below, and I guess that's it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.